So welcome to the conference, Kimmo. Great to have you here.
Thanks.
So, now up to you.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation and good afternoon for everybody. My name is Kimmo Huhtilainen and I'm working for Aubis for about 10 years now, and I'm heading our credit risk management and receivables purchase programs and trade finance here in Treasury in Hamburg. And maybe not everybody is aware of Aubis, what is Aubis basically, and I can give you a short explanation in the beginning before we go to these secured payment terms in emerging markets and how we are solving our issues there. So Aubis is a copper producing company based in Germany, and we are indeed an old company. We have a history of 155 years now, and we are, even though we are old company, so we are still serving modern markets. And one important market currently is now, or is appearing in our eyes, is this green market. They speak about Green Deal, etc., and electronic cars and so on. So we are a company which is actually producing goods for this industry. So we are basically really profiting from this, and we have big hopes that this kind of green revolution is going to affect positively our business. And let's go to the next one. So like I said, we are an old company, and we are about 6,200 employees, and our annual turnover is about 12 billion euros, and EBIT about 200-300 million euros. So the EBIT compared with the turnover is quite low, and in that sense, it's important that our risk management is well done and our receivables are well secured. So if we are having a loss of about a couple of millions in our balance sheet, so it's not going to be quite a nice situation to show to the investors, since we are also listed in MDAX in Germany. Basically, our business model is quite simple. So we are importing concentrates from the South America mainly to our smelters based in Germany and Bulgaria and Belgium, where we are refining this. It seems that the map is not visible here, but we are refining this copper concentrate in our smelters to pour copper cathodes, and then we further produce copper products further in the downstream. And second, or even more important for us, is the recycling business. So we are buying copper scrap and metal scrap from different scrap dealers, and then we are we are smelting also those metals and producing from those metals also copper. And we are indeed world leading in this business at the moment. And when I'm talking about the copper, we are not only the copper company. We are also producing other metals, especially the copper concentrate is also including some precious metals, and also the recycling materials like computers and the mobile phones. They are also including precious metals and also kind of exotic metals. And we are really able to separate those metals to specific sections and selling them further. So Aubis, we call nowadays ourselves as a multi-metal company. And our plants are basically biggest plants or smelters are located in Bulgaria, Germany and Belgium, and then we have also some copper product production in in the Netherlands, Finland, US, and Italy, and Slovakia to some small extent, and also to in UK. And we have also a small plant in China, but they are not that that plant is not that important for us at the moment. So our main business is really smelting the copper and then selling it further, and also including the precious metals and the minor metals. So we have different markets also in our UBIs. Our main market is Europe. It's about 75% of our sales are going to our customers in Europe. So it's especially in Germany and Italy. But we also have markets in also in other countries outside of Europe. We have sales about 25%, and important market is for us Africa and the Middle East, and especially Tunisia. So we are serving the automobile industry, and they are producing for the automobile industry, and in that sense. Yeah, there's surprisingly some business also there, which is really important for us. And then we have some sales to Asia, which are not that important, like to Africa and or North Africa and the Middle East. And we have some sales to also to Belarus and ex-Yugoslavia. These sales we are usually credit insuring. So our policy is that we are securing everything, so if possible. And credit insurance is our main instrument in securing the payments, and that's widely used in Europe, and also for some of our key customers in North Africa. But in certain cases, credit insurance is not possible, and for many of you, letters of credit and the bank guarantees and documentary collections are well known, and we are using them too. And in certain extent, they have also these instruments have sometimes a bit setbacks, so there's a price which is for the customer a bit tricky, and which is also defining our sales with those customers. So it might be expensive, and in that sense, a letter of credit is not always the best way to deal with the sales to our customers, and we are using then documentary collections in a wide extent, and it's quite it's for our UBIs quite common that we are utilizing this kind of instrument, and I'm going to explain it to you later on what are the specifics, why we have basically chosen that, and why we are how we are controlling the risks with these instruments. We also have some classification we classify our customers also in this respect when we are having these customers, especially without any credit insurance. So we are utilizing Euler Hermes grades in our risk management, since we don't have own credit evaluation for our customers. We have that many customers, about 5,000 customers, and we have only one person in the corporate, me, doing these evaluations. So basically, I don't have the capacity to look at all financials of the customers. So basically, the easiest way is that we are utilizing Euler Hermes grade and seeing in order to understand how the customer is doing in a financial sense. In the past, every plant used to have their own valuation for same customer, so we hadn't any harmonized system, and nowadays we are using this, and it helps us also to see our risk concentrations in our customer portfolio quite well. I already mentioned about these instruments which we are using, and I'm not going to repeat them that much, but we also have, in addition to the credit insurance and the guarantees and letters of credit and credits and documentary collections, also the prepayments. So some customers cannot really organize any security for us, or their banks cannot organize it, and our credit insurance are not either willing to give a limit. And we have some methods how we are especially trying to save some costs with these bank instruments, letters of credits and bank guarantees. We can approve the issuing bank without any confirmation if the bank rating is on the investment grade, and if the customer issuing bank is having a bit lower grade, so then or investment is not having the investment rating, so then we need to confirm the such an instrument, and basically for that purpose we are also looking at this the bank ratings from Bloomberg. Documentary collections, they are a big part of our business in the emerging markets, and we have three types of collections. Where we are delivering bill of lading directly to the bank of the customer, or we just send the copies of the BLs to the customer, and the customer makes the payment to us, or we retain the copies, and then once the customer has paid to us, we release the BLs to the customer. That, of course, requires a high level of trust from the customer side also. And these kind of transactions create us also a risk that the customer doesn't pay to us, and then we need to retransport the goods back to Europe or to another customer. That means cost for us, but we accept that risk. And in some cases, goods will not be returned to our office, even though we have the BLs. That might also happen in certain countries, or the bank is not reliable enough, or there might be currency controls in some countries, and we don't get the payment, and then we need to transport the stuff back home. For this respect, we have developed such a traffic light model where we are evaluating our customers to be eligible for documentary collection business. We are looking at the country risk, and then we are looking at how the customer has been rated by Ole Hermes, what kind of payment experiences we have, and how often we have made deliveries for the customer. Basically, how stable is our customer relationship. And then we are also looking at the banks involved with these transactions, whether they are even investment grade or not. And based on that traffic light model, we have classified green countries where we are willing to deliver to the fairly new customers, also based on documentary collections, so that we require only that we have delivered for about 6 months to the customer. And Ole Hermes grade must be in the levels of 1 to 6, and we also want to see no negative payment experiences with the customer. So these green countries can be said, I can say that it's Singapore or Japan and so on. Yellow countries, that's a more trickier one. There we require at least that we have had at least deliveries to the customer for 2 years or so. And good examples for the green countries can be said that it's like Egypt, Pakistan, and such countries like Morocco, Tunisia. And then finally we have the red countries, meaning that this documentary collection is not possible at all. So the risk is high, and in this case, I would say that we have one country in our list at the moment, and it's Algeria. We had bad experiences there in the past. Luckily, we were able to solve the issue, but it was not so a nice experience. So just to summarize this, our policies, we prefer the documentary collections, or our customers basically do prefer the documentary collections, since it's clearly cheaper way for them to make the payment, as our deliveries, they are usually quite have high amounts. We are not talking about tens of thousands of euros, but we are talking about sometimes 1 million, 2 million euros. So that means that if the customer is making the payment with a letter of credit, so it might be quite expensive. And in this sense, documentary collection gives us a possibility to increase our sales to the customers if needed. And if that's not, if the customer is not reliable enough, or we have this red light country, so then we really need to use the letters of credits, and that has a negative side effect that we are basically losing the business. But in our case, we are not willing to compromise our risk management policy, and we are not willing to take any risks in this respect. And in that sense, we are really strict with these issues. And even though the sales are always pushing us, but we need to really think about also this realistic situation that we might lose some of our receivables if the worst situation going to take place. So I hope that this has given you some glimpse, some view on our business and our risk management in emerging markets. And if you have any questions, so please let me know.
Mitigation solutions in emerging markets. So, well, today we also had a topic which covers the ESG, the environmental social governance. Is there anything you would like to give a position on? Because companies in the area working with the various countries in the business line that you're in, is that also on the agenda in the future in your company?
I'm sorry, I was not able to join to this ESG part, so it's a good question. So if you could just shortly explain to me what was the issue there.
Yeah, it's all about the supply chains and the related business partners, finding out the business partners in connection to the supply chain. Supply chain, and whether these business partners needs to be evaluated separately, whether they are fulfilling international laws, and whether they are fulfilling what your regulations within the company would ask them to fulfill.
Yeah, we have such a so-called business partner screening, so where we are evaluating basically these factors, and especially these embargo things and sanctions and so on. So they are strictly being reviewed by our legal department and my colleagues. So we need to also see that the customer is not involved with such a really strange business and with these sanction issues. Second issue is also we are looking also in the future these environmental issues, that the customer is compliant with these environmental regulations. So we are proceeding to that part in the near future.
Yeah, Very good. So that rounded off the view on your business and your acting in emerging markets segment. So thank you very much, Kimmo, for these insights.